All right, the next one, moving on, the next one I will have Lieutenant From will introduce the Central City Navigation Center and voila update. Lieutenant From, is he here? Yes, great. If you would come up and introduce us to the Central City Navigation Center, please.
Good evening. Thank you, Council. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, City Manager. Thank you, City Attorney. You're going to hear two presentations today, one from CityNet and one from Volunteers of America of LA. As the person who oversees our Special Operations Bureau, I can tell you that our partnership with these two entities have allowed us to really make the city good. So the impact that those two entities have had on how we deal with homelessness issues in the city of, we could not do it without them. So you're going to hear some success stories from them tonight to kind of prove to you that the system that we do have in place is working. Before I pass it to CityNet to give their presentation, I would like to thank the council and the city manager and Chief Ishii, who I believe is somewhere around here, and just the continued support that you're providing the police department and the community. So thank you. If we'll have CityNet come up, Andreas from CityNet, give a presentation. Thank you so much.
Good evening, Honorable Council. So today I'm just going to talk about a little bit of our updates in the past month and a half and our collaboration with PD. And also a couple of success stories, obviously, to abide by HIPAA laws. Names and or very specific details of their cases have been omitted. Just a disclaimer. Can I go to the next slide, please? Oh, thank you. So just wanted to talk about overall the services that we offer here for the city of Fountain Valley for our unhoused neighbors. We now have the access to the Central Cities Navigation Center, so we do direct referrals that have to go through PD. They do have the clients that are interested in this shelter referral have to be vetted by our police department to make sure that they have sufficient ties for the city of Fountain Valley. We also provide transportation to document appointments. This could be for a Social Security card, birth certificate, and also IDs to the DMV. Apart from that, we also do referrals to other local shelters in the area, most specifically the Yale Navigation Center in Santana. We also provide housing navigation once clients are matched to housing vouchers, and relocation with a family or friends once we do a vetting process as well. We want to make sure that wherever they end up, they're not just unhoused somewhere else, and they have a permanent, stable living situation. So this is our monthly dashboard that we send monthly to the city of Fountain Valley. It includes all the client interactions we've had throughout the month, along with the exits for the month, and as well as average community wait time that they had in order to obtain a bed for shelter. And it also includes a couple of success stories. So there are success stories included monthly based on any progress that clients have made in their cases. So from 1023 to 1206, we've had a total of 13 street exits. This means that the client is no longer living on the street in the city of Fountain Valley. As of today, it is now about 16. We collaborate a lot with the UCI Medical Center. A lot of folks end up at that medical facility due to their insurance. So there are folks who are outside of the city that end up there. We have a pretty close relationship with the social workers there, who usually call us in order to find placement for people who are being discharged. Apart from that, we also collaborate with the Yale Navigation Center and the Central Cities Navigation Center as well. Any clients that are not qualified for the shelter here and do not have sufficient ties, they get either rerouted to other programs that we have in other Orange County cities to see if they have sufficient ties there. So sometimes we collaborate with our team in Santana and our team in Anaheim. And more specifically, ever since the ruling for grants pass has been changed, we have been working closer with PD, and this includes offering services to folks who might have been called by a community member. This could be the Parks and Recreation. It can be someone, a concerned member, seeing an unhoused individual around their neighborhood. So we respond to these calls. Once we arrive, we offer them any sort of services that can help their current situation. If none of these services are to their liking or they just deny services outright, we have made a process to where we let the reporting party know that they refuse all services, and if they further require any further assistance, whether they're breaking an ordinance and or some sort of law, to let Fountain Valley PD know. We also offer them that we would call them directly since we are in communication with Lieutenant Fromm and his team. Any potential clients encountered by our Special Operations Bureau also gets referred to us before they go ahead and do their job and enforce any sort of law and ordinances. So if they do encounter someone, they call us over. We vet them to see if they qualify for the navigation center here for the Fountain Valley residents. And if they don't, and flat out refuse services, that's when PD can do their end and enforce any sort of laws that have to be upheld. And overall, this is across the board. So any client who potentially may or may not be breaking some rules, we do let our team members from the Special Operations Bureau know, so that way they can ask some questions to see if they themselves have outstanding charges, etc. But overall, a lot of clients have been really receptive to this partnership, and those that haven't, well, they've been assisted by Fountain Valley PD to make a better decision on their current whereabouts and or activities. So there's a total of 5 success stories. I'm going to go from left to right. In October, a client of ours was recently housed at a new complex in Orange County. They had been working with us since April of this year, and they were pretty on top of everything. The client was very receptive to services. They got all the documents necessary in order to be housed. And they had everything turned in about, I want to say, May or June. And since then, they had just been waiting on the community queue, which is where unhoused clients wait for an opportunity to be matched to a voucher. They're currently still residing there and doing really well. The second square at the bottom left, we have been working with a client who has been a long-time unhoused resident of Fountain Valley. We encountered them when I was still on the outreach team, and we tried to assist in getting all the documents necessary for housing. They were definitely struggling with substance abuse, and it kind of impeded their ability to kind of get anything accomplished. Still, we proceeded to continue offering outreach resources and kind of encouraging them to not stray off the path. Fast forward 2 years, that client is now at a transitional living program, also in Orange County, and they are currently residing there until their permanent housing voucher is issued, and they have not left, which is, based off of my personal recollection, is pretty miraculous for him. For the Center Square, we have a client who has been unhoused for quite a while. Again, they were very resistant to services at the beginning. And by resistant, I meant either they blew us off or they just flat out refused to engage. But after multiple attempts, in collaboration with another agency in another neighboring Orange County city, we were able to gather all their documents. They have a voucher in hand, and the RTA for their new unit, from a brand new unit, is scheduled to be done by the end of this month. So this client has been, I guess, persuaded to kind of accept the services, and even they themselves kind of express their gratitude and kind of their surprise that something actually came to fruition. For the bottom right-hand square, we actually received a client from a far-off city in California, escaping from a domestic violence situation. Not sure how they decided to end up here, but it took about 3 weeks of calling basically all of the Southern California domestic violence resources, which were all severely impacted. But after 2 weeks of calling continuously, this client was able to be connected to a program that is very highly regarded for these kind of cases. And so far, they're so good from the last update that we received from them as well. And then finally, the top right-hand square is my personal favorite. Our outreach team engaged a unhoused individual who was of an elderly age, and I'm saying over 80. They had not been in contact with any agency to receive any sort of resources. They were kind of just living out of their vehicle, and they just were having a hard time connecting or receiving assistance other than their immediate network, which would be relatives, friends, and local community members. Our outreach team engaged them, and within 2 weeks, they were able to find placement for them, and they are currently still there, and very grateful that they are indoors, especially now in this cold weather. These are just a couple of pictures. We can only provide the ones where our clients' faces are not shown, but they are accompanied by our outreach workers, Max and Natalie. And some of these may or may not be connected to the success stories that I just shared. I want to give a special thanks to the Orange County Outreach and Engagement Team. They've assisted with medical resources for clients that have extensive medical issues that we try to resolve on our own before reaching out. Also, a shout out to our Central Cities Navigation Center staff. They've been really patient, really collaborative, and really providing a lot of grace to our clients, especially those that break the rules. They are given second chances, and clients do take those second chances. We also want to give a thanks to the UCI Medical Center for forwarding any potential clients to us. We want to also thank Lieutenant Fromm, who's been very supportive, and he's just kind of taken his new position in stride. Lieutenant Parsons did really well in filling him in and everything, so thanks to him as well. Sergeant Farmer, who's also been very communicative with our team. He and Max have a really good back and forth relationship, so anytime anything comes up, Sergeant Farmer is always eager to learn and eager to be collaborating with us. And then also Officer Mays, who's probably the longest serving homeless liaison officer that we have had in recent time. Our team is very grateful for his support. And then also to Sharon, our Parks and Recreation attendant. She always greets us with a smile when we go into Miles Square Park to search for potential clients. And she's also been assisting us in kind of locating clients that we have lost contact with, just in case she has seen them. And that's it. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you so much for those updates. Just a quick questions. We have, I believe, 13 bed allocated to our city, right? Mm-hmm. Can you tell us how many bed has been occupied this time?
Yes, all the beds are occupied, save for 2 that we are saving for in case Fountain Valley PD encounters a person who might be in need of this bed. Otherwise, they would be full. I believe it took us about a month or less, maybe a month and a half tops, in order to have all the allocated beds filled.
And can you share us some success story if I think the intent of the goal of this is to move those who are unhoused to a permanent housing. Has that been successful?
Yes. So out of the success stories that I shared, there was 2 that are, one is housed and one is about to be housed by the end of this month. There are many more that have all of their documents that are needed in order to be housed by the Orange County Housing Authority. The only drawback, or I guess thing that we're waiting on, is essentially for the Orange County Housing Authority to match our clients to housing opportunities. So what this looks like is every, I believe, Tuesday or every other Tuesday, the Housing Authority gets together. They go down a list of folks who are ready to be matched with all of their documents required for public housing. And essentially when our clients are called up, we have a representative from CityNet asking for the match and matching them. So once they are, we provide the housing navigation, going to apartment viewings, and essentially paying for deposit first month's rent in order for them to be housed.
Great.
So-
Okay, great. Thank you so much. Any my colleagues have any questions? Yes, Councilmember Harper.
A question. Can you go back to the navigation slide? It's one of the first ones that has your sort of the dashboard up there. Yeah, that one. So I had a question about the 113 days in the middle and the 263 days on the bottom. Can you explain what that what those numbers mean?
So the average time for the bed reservation queue, when we have clients who don't qualify for the Central Cities Navigation Center, which requires ties to the city of Fountain Valley, we put them on this kind of like a wait list for all of Orange County. Now, what this means, since we are in the central section of Orange County, which is called Central Spa, they are put on this list, and once the matchers for available beds throughout all shelters across all of Orange County become available, they send the case managers an email saying, hey, your client has been matched. Please locate them and have them either deny or accept the bed within, I believe, 72 hours.
And what about the 263 days? What's that one? Is that one different?
For the community queue is for housing. So
Permanent housing?
correct. So anyone on the community queue are people who have their documents ready, and essentially they're just playing the waiting game, waiting to be matched to a voucher.
And how many individuals would you say fall into those categories?
Off the caseload currently,
Yeah,
quite a few. Some of these,
10, 20?
I'd say over 20, 30, 40 people.
Okay.
I'd say 40 or more. Some of the clients that we have included on these queues, even those that we have lost contact with, are still on the queues. Now what happens is when they are exited from programs, their wait time on the queue is paused until they're enrolled by another full service provider. So it could be us, outreach and engagement, or any sort of outreach team that has access to HMIS.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Any other council member? Any questions? Yes. Council member Grandis?
That's me. Glenn, nice to meet you. Yeah, so I just want to make a quick comment. I know that when we first started, we got off to a bit of a rough start. And I think that over the last 90 days or so, we've seen some real traction and some improvements. So I just want to make sure that, you're aware that I speak for myself here, I guess, but that we feel that way and that you guys are stepping up. And, it took a while for us to really get going, but we're doing it now. Yeah. And definitely improvements, and we see it out on the street. And the most important thing is that we're providing services to people in need, and that's what I truly care about. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
Councilmember Constantine?
Yes, well, I've been extremely skeptical, and I have noticed improvement, and thank you so much. We do appreciate it.
Thank
Appreciate it
you.
as well. Thank you.
I want to thank you to the council members for their feedback. Anybody else would like to make comments? Nope. Okay, well, great. Thank you so much, and we look forward to a great year 2025 to hopefully you have better news for us.
Of course.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay, moving on. Mr. City Clerk, do we have any requests to
We
speak?
have a presentation from Voila.
Oh, they do. I'm sorry. My apologies. Go ahead.
We could go if that's taking too much time.
No, you take as much time as needed. I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Okay.
So I'm just waiting for our slides. There we go. So just to introduce ourselves, so I'm Eric Richardson. I'm the Director of Housing for VOA LA, which is Volunteers of America LA and Orange County. Could be covered Orange County in many different ways. And this is, let Danny introduce himself.
I'm Daniel Torres. I'm the program manager that oversees the Central City Navigation site.
Let's just, which button is it? This one?
Yeah.
There we go. So we're going to talk a little bit about the Central Cities Navigation Centre. I'll call it CCNC from now on. It'll certainly slow down the presentation as we go on. So we opened on June the 12th, 2024. It is a collaborative piece of work, as you all know, between Fountain Valley, Westminster and Garden Grove. worked together to pull this over the last few years has been a really huge step forward. And, you know, before we go a bit further on, I just want to say the time spent developing it to get it looking like it should do and looking in the kind of place where our clients want to stay is a credit to all three cities, because it really has made a difference. And the clients that are staying in there want to stay now, which is a benefit. I know we want to move them on, but it's always good that our clients want to be there. And they've stayed in other shelters and they're very, very impressed with it. So the design and the layout took a lot of time, a lot of work, and it's really paid off. We've got some key facts, so I'll talk through these ones. So operationally, we're obviously open 24/7. Length of stay is up to 120 days, but that can be extended depending on the individuals. We don't have any walk-ins, so all shelters in Orange County don't have any walk-ins. You have to be referred through. So the referral process, as CityNet were just saying, comes through the PD departments in the three cities, and they refer into us. They check that that individual has got a link to whichever city that referral's coming through from. It's for 18 plus, no children, and anticipated to serve around 170 people per year. We offer a variety of services in the ccnc. We have case managers on hand that offer mental health stabilisation, as it says, around substance misuse counselling. We do outpatient health services. We'll talk a little bit about that as we move on. We do have animals and pets that can stay in the facility. I think we've only had dogs and cats so far.
So far,
You know, we get a wide variety of hamsters, snakes. You can imagine what we get in there, but we deal with it as much as we can. We do obviously offer education services and resume collection and writing and employment assistance. One of the ones that missed off there is we also have housing navigators. So we have housing navigators as well as case managers to try and find landlords that are out on the street and to work through, as CityNet were just saying, the process of getting a voucher in place. We have on-site transportation, which is a shuttle service that goes around the three cities to pick up and drop off clients, depending if they've got appointments or where they want to go, because there's no walk-on. And we'll talk a little bit about CES a little bit further. I'll let you do that one.
Okay, so this basically brings down the breakdowns of the beds that we have at the site. So we have 22 beds for Westminster, 13 beds for Fountain Valley, 50 beds for Garden Grove. The beds are separated by, we have two major dorms, which is a male dorm, which that houses 55 males. We have the female room, which houses 22 females. And then we have a couples room, which it doesn't necessarily have to be a couple. It can be mom and son or dad, you know, any type of family we can get them so they can at least stay together and they feel more comfortable at the site. We do also have 2 flex rooms. The flex rooms is, you know, trying to keep somebody away from the general population, which, you know, sometimes with even like an illness, if they're sick, we don't want to get everybody else sick, so we have the flex rooms for that.
I think the other thing about flex rooms is our client group, as you can imagine, we try and always house those individuals that struggle to get housed anywhere else. So a lot of them do have substance abuse issues and problems, and if we get somebody coming back to the ccnc, we're a low barrier, and it's to trying to make sure that they don't live their bed space. So sometimes if we get somebody like that who might be, for want of a better word, worse for wear, we might ask them to go in a flex room for a night rather than putting them in a dorm, because we want to make sure that it's successful just because they have other issues going on in their lives. And so we thought we'd talk a little bit about, this is a snapshot of where we are this week with the numbers, and obviously you can see the numbers in blue. I'll let Danny talk through these.
Yeah, so for the city of Fountain Valley, we've done 24 intakes. We currently have 12 present at the site. Right now we have 7 males, we have 2 single females, 2 couples. No pets right now for Fountain Valley. Oddly, in the pets, what I have the most of at the site, I have more cats than I do dogs. So that's always kind of weird, which is actually better because the site's pretty small, so it just keeps it. But there's a lot of people that, especially having pets makes a huge difference because that gives them something to, you know, take care of, you know. So that's...
Just to talk, because obviously we've got 24 intake and 12 present. Obviously they are clients that we have referred through. So some clients will be referred through, and our partnership with CityNet and the PD covers that. And now sometimes they'll come in and they might only last a day or two. It's hard, you know, if you haven't been in a shelter before and you first go in there, it's not what everybody wants. But we do keep that open, so should they leave or should they move on, they can always come back again. There isn't an issue. And sometimes there's times when we have to exit clients and they have to leave the accommodation. Could be behaviour, it could be other issues, but again, it's not a closed door. It's about working with that client. We've had other clients that we've exited that have come back and we've moved back in again. They've understood and come back to us and gone, do you know what? I was better off where I was. I need to come back in, and I'm happy to look at how I deliver my issues. I'll let you do that one.
So some of the partner agencies that we work with here is the police department. They really help us out with vetting the clients to make sure that they have connections to Fountain Valley, because what we don't want is people from other cities coming and taking those beds. So we really want to make sure that we service the community. CityNet has also been such a great partner for us. They actually bring me some very great referrals to the site, people that really need the service. I think from Fountain Valley, I kind of don't get too much turnover on the clients from Fountain Valley. They find us very good quality clients. Orange County Healthcare Agency, they bring us clients, not as many as CityNet, but they've brought us some good clients. Really, I think at the site, some of the Fountain Valley clients are some of the good ones that I have in the site. I don't really have a lot of turnover with the Fountain Valley clients. And the site, we do have Cal Optima that comes in and provides medical service to the clients, so they're able to get treated there. For us, we want the services to come onto the site, because sometimes if we send out the clients out to the field, they might not make it to the destination. One of the biggest goals that we have in the site is trying to get them connected to more income. So sometimes in being able to connect them to more income, we need to connect them to SSI, SSDI. The only way how we can prove that is by them going to the doctor, meeting them regularly, and being able to prove that disability to Social Security. Serve the community people, community health clinic. They're going to be coming in providing also mental health services and physical health services for our clients. Be Well comes into the site, always helps out with any mental health issue. If we have a mental health issue, somebody feels suicidal, somebody doesn't feel good at the site, we're able to call them and they're able to give us great support. Healthcare in Action, another group that comes and helps our clients with physical health. And we have local faith groups that come in and they actually provide services at the site. So we have them on Monday, every other Monday, and then we have a pastor that comes in every Wednesday, and we do Bible studies at the site, and just try to get them back connected.
Okay, and we thought we'd do a few outcomes. Obviously, when a client first comes to the CCNC, it's about getting them acclimated to where they are and understanding what's going on for them in their lives. So the case managers spend a lot of time looking at where they've been, what's happening, what issues they might have, and who we can link them to and other services. But the specific things that we have as KPIs are key performance indicators that we have internally. One of those straight away is getting them document ready. So document ready means lots of our clients have no ID, no identification, nothing to move them forward. Now, to get any kind of housing, any kind of other benefit in place, that's the first thing we do. So 13 clients from Fountain Valley have had their documents ready and are ready to move on. We have clients straight away that want to link to a health provider. So as Danny said, we've got lots of health that comes in to support us. We want to link them. Now, that health provision could be mental health, could be physical health. It could be simply just getting them involved with health generally so they're getting that kind of benefit. 7 clients have had their income increase, so that's, again, as Danny was saying, SSI, or it could be any kind of benefit. Some have no money whatsoever coming in. And 16 are on the coordinated entry system, which, going back to what our partners from City now were talking about, that's to get those individuals on that list that he was talking about, to get them housed and get them vouchered and move them on. Clients that we have that are in the shelters, I think you were asking about the numbers earlier. The good thing about being in the shelter is it's very clear that they're homeless and we can try and push for them. We do that, and so do our team at CityNet, to push them through to get vouchers and get them to move on. And then we've got a couple of client success stories that I think Danny's going to talk through.
Yeah, so right now, one of the biggest success stories that I feel really good about, we had a couple come into the site. They had recently lost custody of their children, really young child, newborn and a teenager. And for me to see that, and see people going through that struggle, we were able to connect them. We helped them. It probably took about 3 months to get them custody of their kids. And actually this month we were able to actually house them. So they're actually getting a 2-bedroom apartment. So for us to be able to help people and get them reunited with their family and, getting that family together right before the holidays is incredible. It's incredible that the city has provided somewhere like that can create for these clients to be able to get them back on their feet. Sometimes a lot of people at the shelter are people that have gone through some hard times and just need a couple months to be able to get back on their feet. So thank you guys for providing the shelter for us. I had another couple who had gone around from city to city trying to get services. Every city would complain to me about them. The PDs would complain to me about them. I was able to talk to them. You know, a lot of things that happens with a homeless community is you got to talk to them. You got to really have a conversation, because sometimes out in the street, nobody really has a conversation with them and kind of sees what they're going through, the struggles that they're going through. With talking to this couple, we were able to convince them to go back with their parents. Their parents took them back. They went to live there. They were chronically homeless for a long time. So for them to go back to their family, you know, that's one less couple out in the streets here, but now they've reunited with their family. So to me, that's amazing, being able to reunite families.
And I think we're at the end. One of the things I just wanted to say as we come to a conclusion is we from a VOA point of view, and from me personally, we've operated a lot of shelters, and we've done that across a lot of years. One of the success stories I also want to do about the CCNC is the collaboration between the cities, and the collaboration between all the PD departments and the partners has been incredible, and it's been incredibly supportive for us delivering the CCNC. Specifically, I want to say from a point of view, there was an understanding of it's a gradual process of getting people into something like the Central Cities Navigation Centre or any shelter, that you gradually move people in, you gradually work with them to give them time to get in there. So it meant that we weren't full from day one. We've had other shelters where we've opened on June the 14th. By June the 15th, we've had organisations going, right, are you full? Have you moved everybody in? And you can do that, but the time to try and engage with all those individuals as you do it isn't good, and that's not what happened in the CCNC. We had that time, and between the three cities, you all gave us that time to move people in gradually, get them to know the environment, and it's really, really paid off for the individuals that are in there and that we're working with. So it's just a thanks, really, from all the three cities, and we've said this at a similar presentation in Garden Grove, for that support has been massively beneficial. And our big piece of work now is as you could see, we're almost full, is just getting all those people through a city net into housing. That's the big push for us to try and do that as soon as we can. Just any questions?
Okay, great. Thank you so much. Is there any questions for anybody?
Yes, ma'am.
Councilmember Canine?
First of all, thank you so much for all the hard work. Being a team approach and wrapping around all these services it's just incredible to watch, and to know that there's a solution, or at least a path for betterment in a lot of people's lives. I have two questions. When we first got to see the facility, being in Garden Grove, it seemed like it was in the perfect place where it was sited in an industrial area. I'm just curious, have you gotten any feedback from neighbors, any complaints, or how has that worked out?
I mean, I'll let Danny kick in, because Danny's the one that's there every day. But no, you go ahead, Danny.
Sometimes with a shelter, sometimes people are always going to complain,
Yeah.
Sometimes nobody wants a shelter in their area. For us, it's always the non-walk-off policy that's made the shelter a lot better, not allowing people to hang around or loiter around the shelter. Most of the times when you walk by the shelter, unless you know that it's a shelter, you don't know what it is. It has no signage. It doesn't say anything in the front that says Central City Navigation. It just has a glass door. So for the most part, we've been pretty good with the neighbors.
Okay.
They all have my phone number, so if they have any issues, it's call me directly, and let's try to make sure that we fix any problem. We're trying to keep the neighbors happy with us.
That's great news. And
I just want to say on the back of that as well, I think the other part is that the cities, whether that was Garden Grove or all three cities, did a good job going around all those partners as well, and all those other organisations that were there. Danny has also gone around them, so they know who he is, so they can come to him direct rather than thinking it's a faceless organisation that I can't get hold of anybody. They just call him up and say this is happening. And the third thing is, an example of a positive is from that is, some of the individuals were saying there's a lot of rubbish on the street, there's a lot of trash out on the street. And now Danny and his team go out. We have workers that go out every day. Then one day a week, you go out with clients to go and clean the streets.
Yeah, we go out we have a trash can. We just go pick up everything. We have scoopers, and we'll grab trash can just to make sure that we don't get blamed. Even though it might not be our trash, there's a taco truck in the corner and a hamburger truck in the corner too, but we just make sure we clean everything up just to have the neighborhood clean.
that's great. And then the other question I have is, how do you sort of present the picture of how wonderful this place is when maybe someone's encountered here in our city through CityNet? Do you have any visuals? Or, I mean, for those of us that have seen it, this place is amazing. I mean, the dorms, the workspaces.
the restrooms and showers, super clean, the cafeteria, and an amazing kitchen. I mean, this is a phenomenal place. Do you have any kind of ways to sort of market that or to get them excited about how special this
Just before Danny says anything, I just want to say one thing. Shelters live in a strange world because on one hand, you want individuals to go, I want to go there. That looks good. I want to go there. On the other hand, you're going, we don't want you to stay there. We want you to like it, but not quite like it that much that you're going to do that. So it's a strange world. Sorry, Danny.
Like Eric says, we try to tell everybody, hey, you're not going to be here forever because that's kind of, they like it for, I think all of you guys have toured the site and you guys have seen how beautiful it is. And it's really, it doesn't feel like a shelter when you walk in. It almost feels like you're in a brand new apartment complex. So people really like the site. So sometimes it's not hard to sell it because everybody wants to, especially right now with the cold weather, everybody wants to come into the site, So.
Well, thank you so much.
I think word of mouth is the other thing.
Word
I think
of mouth,
once you get, because all our clients know each other, especially in smaller cities, they all know each other. So once they go away and they go, oh, no, I've been here. So it's amazing how many referrals you get from that.
Awesome, thank you.
That's a great question, Vice Mayor Kanin. Any other members? Councilmember Hopper?
Thanks for the presentation. I just wanted to sort of make a comment about how this all came to fruition. I see Chief Shepard in the audience, and this was kind of his baby. He started the process off and saw it come to fruition with both CityNet and Central City Navigation Center. I want to thank the officers, Lieutenant Fromm, Officer Mays. There was somebody else mentioned, but I can't remember their name, Lieutenant Parsons. The police officers are the ones that are boots on the ground, interfacing with these people every day. CityNet, Andreas talking to our neighbors on the street, and it's such important work that you do, and it's I just want to thank you for doing it and with some of the success that you had. Keep it up. Thanks.
Great. Any other council members? Okay, actually I want to make a comment. How do you handle when you have an unhoused person that has pets? And I'm not going there if I cannot take my pets with me. So how do you handle with that?
They're allowed to bring one pet.
They're allowed to bring one pet.
They're allowed to bring one
great.
pet.
Just want to make sure that I
Yeah.
get that information out.
As long as
Okay.
it's not a snake or something big that, I don't know. We haven't encountered that yet, but dogs and cats have been
It
fine
could be
so far.
any kind of pets, basically.
Right now, do we have a limit on it?
Yeah, no, I mean, we keep the pet policies open as we can because you could say all dogs can come in, but then we'll get somebody coming in with a dog. And we had to exit somebody simply because their dog bit another dog and another person. And what we do is we don't ask them to leave. We say, you need to find another home for your dog. But what tends to happen, that individual, understandably, like we all are with our pets, is incredibly close. So they're left at the time with their dog. So the pets, it's one pet per person, and it doesn't say any particular pet. We just review it. Again, I know we haven't here. In other shelters we've had, honestly, we've had snakes, lizards, tarantulas, all kinds of things that people want to bring in. And they tend to be the time where we go, yeah, no, we're not going to be able to do that, unfortunately. So there are times where we have to say no, unfortunately.
All right, great. Thank you so much. Anybody else, any questions? No, that'd be all. Thank you so much for your updates.
Thank you.
No problem. Thank